Hi, welcome back to Minecraft Hardcore and another episode of Joshcore, my Minecraft Hardcore survival series. We're currently on episode 20, so I decided I'd do a little bit of a world tour for any new people wanting to check in on the series. It's kind of arduous to go through all 20 episodes, so I figured this is a good way for people to start with the series. There's an Enderman over there. Should I look at him? That's a horrible idea. Anyways, I got sidetracked. I figured it's a good way for people to check in on the series. At episode 20, I can do a tour of everything I built, so you can just kind of jump into the series at any point. So this is the world. This is basically where I've been playing in this kind of savanna area. This used to be a village with villagers all over the place. However, I've tidied it up a lot, and I've added all of my custom buildings around here. And I think it's turning out pretty good. They're all following a very similar theme, which I'm really happy with the way everything's turning out over here. I think it's looking like a really cool area to be around. So I'm going to start with basically, I guess, the order I've built all the houses. We have this house over here. This is like the starter house. This is the first house I built. I actually took this palette off of YouTube. This is like the exact house that was on like YouTube, Google search. You can find this like exact house, but I used the kind of the similar design and then just formatted it differently to make different houses. However, this house was the original. We come up here, I have like my bedroom with all of my old stuff in it, like my old tools that have since been retired and things like that. I have old armor as well, like the boots and just some other diamond leggings and helmets and stuff, and even leggings worn. Yeah, we have a cat over here, we have a cake, just a ton of random stuff, just to make this area look kind of good. I normally set my spawn over here, but I've since kind of stopped, and now this house is just kind of for decoration. We have the enchanting system down here. Well, I just think I broke that. Never mind, no I didn't. Down here is even a lava farm as well. Very small one, but I think it's cool nonetheless, which is nice. And that is basically everything. We come back up here again. We also have some more like relics. We have like a leftover, wait, this is it, the leftover Eye of Ender, the first Nether Star, dragon head that we got from the end ship that had this elytra on it, a dragon egg, just a pillager outpost banner that we got from the raids. We have a leftover end crystal from the ender dragon, killing it 20 times. So that is basically everything in that house. We also have the original nether portal, which definitely needs to be updated. Over here, we actually built this in the last episode. That's the turtle farm. And then over here is just my copper array here to oxidize some copper, which I do plan to do something with the oxidized copper. It's also just good to have oxidized copper rather than normal copper, because the normal copper I can just, or oxidized copper I can just scrape off and turn it back to normal. I also have a dripstone farm in here as well. Not much interesting here, but it is kind of invisible and using the top of the water as the top of the dripstone farm, which I think is nice. If we go back over here, we have the bridge, which was also built, which I think turned out nice. And we have this path over here, which leads into the rest of the village. In here, right here, is kind of my main house now. I used to use this one, the one we just checked out. But I've since started using this, which is also like my storage center. But I have like smelters in here, which I don't really use, to be honest. I have just a ton of like bulk storage up here as well. And then all of my stuff in here, which sorts all of my valuable items, redstone, blah, 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 all this stuff. It's a storage center. I don't really know why I'm showing it. Got an ender pearl launcher. It's got my bed, which is like the one I normally sleep in. We have a music disc collection as well. Yeah, it's just kind of a nice storage center. And it's kind of like elevated on stilts as well, which I think is pretty cool as well, which you don't normally see with buildings. I thought that was a cool touch. Following the path, we have the town center, which has the beacons, which will turn black like the night sky when it gets dark out. Over here, we have the villager breeder, which is basically my main source of emeralds. I can use the cartographer's glass pane traits and just go back and forth with these guys, which sell me normal glass, and I can basically farm up emeralds effortlessly. For example, glass pane for this guy, bam, emerald. And we just take all of these guys. That was a couple of glass panes. What was it, a stack of glass panes, stack of emeralds. Then we can do the same. We buy, let's see, I don't know, 16 glass panes here. Turn this back into a stack, half a stack rather. Let's buy actually a little bit more. There we go. Now we're back into a stack. Wait, I'm trying to demonstrate this. Here we go. We're back into a stack and we gained 58 emeralds, basically for free with trading these guys. Their trades will reset and we can do it again very effortlessly. Let's get another full stack of emeralds. There we go, another 64 emeralds, basically for free. And you can do this over and over again. It is the most broken way to get emeralds in the game. I love my villager breeding hall up here, and I even have a down level, which is more cartographers and books, which helps me to get all of my armor that I currently wear. Okay, that is the villager hall. I also like to point out it is following the same pattern. It's just kind of longer and more extended to fit in the villagers. Over here is my cactus farm. You can kind of see it through the glass here, but it is a good source of cactus here for green dye, which I think is really helpful. I was originally going to use green carpet here for all of these, so I needed green dye. However, I realized moss carpets are a little bit better. They match the taiga forest a little bit better, so we end up using those instead. Over here is my sheep farm, which is still producing black wool, and that was because I originally dyed these guys black for the ender black wool carpet over there. So right now they're just creating black wool, but I can easily dye them with white wool or white dye and turn them into the white sheep to get the default wool, which I can then dye, or I can just dye the sheep to begin with. So another helpful farm here. Also follows a very similar design, just uses kind of a glass dome at the top, which I thought was cool. Over here is the sugarcane farm, which the doors really don't lead anywhere. It's not exactly a really good looking building, but if we come in here, it's just a very high, very powerful sugarcane farm, which helps me get a whole ton of paper for rockets, and I can use it for books as well. Very helpful. Over here, which is very crammed, that was bad on my part to build it that way, is my bee farm in here. These guys are all producing up and about in there, producing honeycomb and whatnot as well. Another very similar building to the design. However, again, wish I did not build it so close. It does look cool though from a distance. Like if we come up here, it looks really cool to see like one house horizontal, the other house that way. However, from like this angle, it does not, because they're literally like touching. So maybe I gotta think that through next time, but it's there nonetheless. Over here we have the farmer tower, which I like to call it. We have some chickens in here automatically burning. We have up here cows and pigs up here, which will eventually grow up. How did you get out? I actually have no idea how you got out. You're dead. We have a whole ton of stuff in here, so we can take this stuff and come up here. And when we do that, we can press these buttons and then breed up all of these guys like so. Do the same thing with the pigs, and their babies will drop down into this area. When they grow up, we can activate the lava, burn them, and get their foods all cooked up there, which is nice. Which I plan to do eventually, just haven't gotten around to actually using it all that much. I have a much better source of food still stacked up from the cows early on in this series, so I haven't really needed to use it all that much. I hope to also get golden carrots with the villagers as well, and just probably end up using that, but it's still helpful to have that as well. Over here is the iron golem lighthouse, basically, which I think is very helpful as well. This thing has been constantly running and just producing a whole ton of iron. Like, wow, Jesus, a lot of iron, yeah. But currently, yeah, you can actually hear golem up there burning. We have the zombie in here doing its thing. So yeah, it's a very helpful farm. And a little bit of a messy area out here. I had to basically put grass everywhere to prevent the golems from spawning on the outside, since there's grass here. So I basically went over, I don't know, I think it was over here actually, off in this hillside. There might be a barren spot of just where I sheared a whole ton of grass to place that in. I didn't really show that on camera, but I just thought it was interesting because I had to use a whole ton of grass to prevent the spawning. And then over here we have the thing I worked on last episode, which is the turtle sanctuary. There's been a door broken in. Did a zombie come in here? I think a zombie might have come in here. I don't know why he did, but he did, because these doors are broken down. That's unfortunate. Hopefully none of the turtles escaped. I hope to get name tags and name these turtles eventually, but these guys are just hanging out in here. I figured I would have them in here, because why not? I think it also looks good on like the shores on the outer section of the village here as well. Another thing I kind of glanced over, the bamboo forest in the distance over here. This thing is mental. It's a lot of bamboo put into this, but I think it turned out pretty good, and it has a nice backdrop for the village in total. I believe that's everything in the village itself. I can go to the nether and show off a couple more things that I've worked on. However, this is not nearly as much as there was on like my other series, like Realm Tale, for example, because on Realm Tale, there's a whole ton more stuff I need to show off. I've been working on that series way more. And this series, I've just been doing everything a lot more careful as well. So obviously things are a little bit slower than Realm Tale. So if we fly in this direction, we'll get to my only other build, which is not in the overworld, which is my end farm. But however, we follow this spruce path down, which is a little bit dangerous in the nether. However, it's very helpful to follow. we just come down here and not go to the other side of this. This is also very dangerous, but never gotten injured before. This is my spruce forest. This is how I get a whole ton of spruce. I never really show this on camera because it's a pretty ugly spot. It's also pretty dangerous. This guy's got gold armor, Jesus. There we go, he's gone. But this is my spruce area. This is where I farm up a whole ton of spruce as well. Again, very ugly area. Never shown on camera before because it's so ugly. However, that is my area. Also, I'd like to point out all of this area is spawn proof with slabs, so nothing will spawn in here and hurt me. However, we follow this way down here. Again, we lead to the end farm. I also need more food soon. I don't have food. I should really start carrying a backup box with food. Okay. I don't have any food, so we're carrying golden apples, but here we go. Into the end, we actually just have to hop off this way and immediately go this way. Follow the black carpet, which is, again, why I used the sheep with black carpet there. We have, you know, the beacon set up over here as well with the max beacon effects, or mostly just regen and strength. Or regen and resistance for these guys. We can put this on here and then bam, get a whole ton of XP as well. My eardrums are bleeding right now. Forgot how loud this farm is, but we can get a whole ton of XP there very easily from these guys, which is a great source of XP, you know, to enchant my gear and combine my gear with anvils and stuff. So this is definitely a very useful farm. It's also one of like the fastest Enderman farms in the game. It is absurdly fast. It has a donut design as well, so all the Endermen spawn in and immediately run inwards. We come up here, they are absolutely funneling in. This thing is very fast, so one of the best XP farms I've ever built in this game. So definitely a very helpful thing that we have there. And as well, in the end, we also have all 20 end gateways opened up, and that was from destroying the dragon a lot of times. I hope to do something cool in the end here, like make a cool end build, which I feel like everyone does. In the end, wow, this is actually where I got the dragon egg. That's kind of funny, because everyone does that with their hardcore series. They end up building end dimension stuff. So I hope to do something here as well, which is like my big payoff in this. I do want to finish the village to some degree and then work on this, but definitely will be something fun to try out. So that is basically the end there. Again, we spawn back in the village, which is basically the full tour. I basically did this in one cut because, again, this world, there's not as much as there is on other series I do. So it's a bit of a shorter series and world tour here. So that's basically everything there, guys. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Helps me out a ton. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more.